When I went to law school, I really didn't know what to expect, but my experience of law school was interesting because I really think it taught me how to think. What I mean by that is that I went into law school with a brain that was like black and white, like there's a right and wrong answer. Law school really teaches you to think in the gray areas, which is that there's not necessarily a right or wrong answer. And the way they do that is called the Socratic method, which is they get you to take one position on a topic, and then they get you to take a second position. So you have to be able to argue both sides. And a good lawyer could take either side. So law school really taught me that there's not always a wrong answer or a right answer. There's always two sides to every story. Forming a business also taught me that there's not necessarily a right or a wrong way of doing anything in a company setting. So while I may take one approach as a business owner and it doesn't work, I don't make it mean that I'm a failure. I make it mean like, hey, that wasn't the right answer. So just like law school taught me that there's no black and white, there's gray, it's the same thing in building a business. There's no black or white, there's gray. So if you try one thing and it doesn't work out, that's okay. You're not a failure. Try something else. One thing I learned about GOLDLAW is what failure means. And we've all got a story on failure that it's something bad. In fact, I have learned in my career over 30 years that you learn so much more from failing than you do from succeeding, because failure hurts a little more than succeeding feels good. So you learn way more from failure than from success. Well, as a business owner, you have, coming in as a young person, you have a definition of success. Success might mean financial success or success on cases. But to me, success has completely changed as a concept in my head. To me, success is really overcoming failure or overcoming setbacks. And it's not how many times you get hit or fall down, it's how many times you get back up. And so success to me is overcoming things that could be labeled as failure and turning them into some platform for later success. What moment in my career made me certain that I chose the right path? Well, to me, it's the moment where I succeed in growing or overcoming an obstacle and continuing to help more people. So as a lawyer, my goal is to help people. If you don't grow, you can only help the people that you interact with. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio. As soon as you start to grow and be able to delegate and have more systems in place, you can help more people. So instead of 1-to-1, it can be 1 to 1,000. At my current size, we have 11 attorneys and about 80 staff, so we can help thousands of people. So if my goal truly from law school and as a person is to help people, why not grow so that you can help more people? Coming out of law school, I was scared of a lot of things, scared that I wasn't good enough, scared that I didn't have the skill set, but I took the approach that everything that I touched or did was an opportunity to learn, and I'm never scared of learning. So if you view everything, whether it's success or a failure, as an opportunity to grow and learn, the fear kind of goes away. So in a business that I have now, 30 years later, I've failed so much, which means I've grown so much. So the fear is all stuff that's created in your head, whether it's a fear of success, fear of failure. There's so many different fears we have, but if you can change your story on failure to be a story on growth, then all the fear or a lot of the fear goes away. So honestly, at this stage in my career, after 30 years, there's not a lot I'm scared of. Well, I think the concept of reframing is excellent in life, not just in business. That if you reframe a failure as an opportunity to grow or learn, that whole concept of that things happen, and that if you can view anything that happens to you as not bad or good, but just an opportunity to learn or to grow, then a lot of fear goes away. And it's basically like looking at the world with a glass half full. So there's a lot of great moments in my legal career, and you'd be surprised to know that they're not necessarily big verdicts or big results. At this stage, now that I'm in a position of leadership in my firm as the chief executive officer, the moments are when I see my team come together and do something that I know I helped them have the ability to do, such as when they come together and realize a person in my company doesn't belong there because they don't fit the culture. They did that without me. I started the culture, but they protect the house. And if they come to me and say, here's why this person doesn't fit in, that's a great moment for me because I created a culture that now is self-protective And that's a beautiful point. So it might not necessarily have something to do with the cases or the success we have from our clients. It may be something internal. To me, running a law firm is a lot about creation and then allowing what you've created to grow organically and then to witness the beauty of something that you just planted a seed and then you have the beautiful flower come out of it. So to me, a lot of running a business is the act of creation and then empowering the people within the garden to grow the beautiful flowers. Well, I created GOLDLAW about 25 years ago with a vision of creating more and more people that can be people who carry forth my value system and what I set up. So over the next 30 years, whether I'm here or not in 30 years, what I want to see is the continuation of what was my vision, which is to have a wonderful place where people come to work and are empowered and happy to be able to help hundreds or thousands of clients, and that everything that I put into them gets put into the clients and the service we provide. As a lawyer, one of the things that we are kind of imbibed in law school is justice, the concept of justice. And that means something different to everybody. Justice can mean defeating an insurance company because they deny a claim. Justice can be making a wrongdoer pay for what they've done, even if it wasn't intentional, if it was just negligent. But most of what we do is get what we call financial justice, which does create closure for some people in some situations. If a person's been injured or killed or a loved one's been taken away, you can't bring back their body, you can't bring back a soul, you can't bring back a person. But different people get closure in different ways. And the only way our civil system allows closure is through financial justice. So that's how justice has played itself out to me, because that's the business I'm in. I went into plaintiff's personal injury lawyer, which is representing the injured person, because I like the underdog. Now in our business, we are the underdog. We're fighting against insurance companies all day. That's all we do. Insurance companies are very powerful. Our clients are one person fighting against a multi-billion-dollar empire and industry that is designed to not compensate people fairly because they want to make profits. We're up against that every day. So it's like a David versus Goliath persona we take on, and the Goliath is the insurance empire. And we are people who make sure people who don't have a voice and who don't have any power have an ability to hold insurance companies accountable for accepting premiums and then paying out when they should. I love running a company where I think that what we try to do is make sure that anybody who works here know that they matter, because our vision and our mission matters. And our mission is to hold accountable those who hurt others. And no matter what position you hold in this company, you are supporting our mission, which is holding accountable insurance companies who represent someone who did something that was a mistake or negligent. So every person here, whether it's the person at the front desk, the person who orders copy paper, or the lawyer who goes to trial, is rowing the boat in the same direction, which is to hold accountable those who hurt others through their insurance companies. In the next 30 years, there's going to be a lot of innovations in every industry. Some of it is technologically related, such as AI. Some of it, to me, since I spend a lot of my time in the community, is actually marketing related. And how do we get our message out? Clients can only know about GOLDLAW if they know about GOLDLAW. So we have to get our message out, and there's so many different ways in the media and in other methods, whether it's TV, billboards, radio, digital, or any other methods of making sure people know we exist. And once they know we exist, we've got to make sure they know how good we are and the good we want to do. So at GOLDLAW, we really focus on community involvement, which is that not only do they know us, but they trust us because we care. Not only do we care about their case and them as people, but about the community that surrounds them. Here at GOLDLAW, one of our main values is to help and assist people in a really awful time. If you get in a car accident or someone dies in your family, it's one of the lowest points in your life. You're very scared. And the good thing about our civil system here in the United States is that you don't have to pay any money up front. You sign a contract with us, we don't get paid until the end of the case. Nothing, zero. So we're really here for you from the beginning because we believe in your case. If we didn't believe in your case, we wouldn't have signed that contract along with you. So we're teammates, and we call it that we're your partners in recovery. Not only are you recovering physically and emotionally from your loss, but hopefully we can help you recover financially. So that's what we mean when we say we here at GOLDLAW are your partners in recovery. The profession I chose, I'm blessed that it's a profession where I get to help people. Like a doctor and a lawyer, like usually their goal is to help people. It is so rewarding at the end of a case or during a case when someone has been through a trauma of some sort, whether it's a car accident or something else, to come back and say that, Mr. Goldenfarb, you helped get me through this time period and recover emotionally, maybe spiritually, and financially, and their health as well, to recover and get through one of the toughest times of their life. To be able to do that over my career, literally thousands of times, is so rewarding on a deep level that it just makes me feel blessed that I've chosen this career and that we're able to help people get through such awful traumas that they face due to no fault of their own. Lawyers in general have a tough reputation, I would say, because one of the prejudices against lawyers is that we're just out for the money. Money is one measure of success. To me, it is a measure. It's one of many measures. To me, I stopped kind of measuring that as a guidepost quite a while ago because I care more about impact. And impact is a broad term. For impact I can have on so many different things. Being the boss, being the CEO, I have an impact on my employees and their lives and their livelihoods. I have an impact on my clients recovering financially, emotionally, spiritually, and recovering their health. I have impact in the community when I go out and I teach, I coach, but more importantly, I guide and mentor others in the community in a variety of ways, not just as an attorney, but as a person who's involved in charitable organizations or civic organizations. And my law firm gives me a platform to expand my value system to others. So I'm lucky that I'm in a business that allows me that platform to spread my value system, which I hope people would consider to be good and charitable, to the whole society. So that is much more of a measure than money to me, is a measure of impact. To focus on profits and running your business is one narrow-minded focus in a company. But to focus on impact takes you to kind of step back and have some mindfulness and understand where and how impact occurs. So one example is I literally go out to lunch every day. There's actually a book called Never Eat Alone, which I've read many times. And it talks about the fact that if you're sitting at your desk working, you may be having some impact, but it's like digital through the computer. But if you're out and you're getting lunch with someone, you're having a one-on-one impact that may spread to their community and their relationships. And I find that I, quote, earn more money at lunch and I make more impact at lunch than I do the rest of my day. So I never eat alone. I always try to make impact through lunches or breakfast or meeting with people and connecting, because that to me leads to impact more than almost anything I do. So the intentionality, one form of intentionality that I use of many to create impact is really simply getting 4 lunches a week with folks, whether it's my employees, whether it's community leaders, referral sources, or anybody else. You've asked about what my lasting impact as an attorney can be. Some people call that a legacy. And to me, I often think of that, sadly, in terms of a tombstone. Like, what's on your grave? And that's a good way of thinking about impact. And to me, it's connection with people and helping them in some way. So if I were to imagine my own funeral or my own epitaph on my gravestone, it would just be that he lived to help others. And that can be in any profession or whether you're a spiritual leader or a CEO, helping others is important. And that's pretty broad, but to me, connecting others with each other so they can help each other and then helping them is really the best part of what I do for a living. If I've learned anything in 30 years, it's that you get more from giving than from worrying about getting. I'm a big believer in what some people may call karma. If I do 10 nice things or 10 good things, and 2 of them result in something coming back to me that's great, wonderful. I did 10 nice things. So I don't do things to get things back. I give with no expectation of return. And I find that the way the world works is if you give with no expectation of return, you get a lot of return. And that has happened over and over again in my life. The more I give, the more I end up getting anyway. So if you start with the give, the get will follow. If you start with the get, it's the wrong way to approach it. I read a journal called the Harvard Business Review, which is pretty cool, and it talks about giving with no expectation of return and how that leads to happiness. In other words, the people that give are just fundamentally happier and more pleasant and more at peace with themselves. And the more I give, the more special I feel. And it's true, at least for me, that the more I give out, the more I just feel at peace and the more comfortable I feel if I don't worry about getting. And then the return is just automatic in life. I love to give, and I actually have a couple of words that are really meaningful to me that really drive everything I do. And those two words are create and connect. If I create things that enable me to connect with people, that's what I do, whether it's a marketing campaign, something silly like the ice cream truck we just bought for GOLDLAW, that's a create. And the create enables me to connect with people, whether it's kids or adults. We're giving away free ice cream with an ice cream truck at charity events. So those two words really empower me. They have nothing to do with being a lawyer, nothing, but they have a lot to do with me as a person. I like to create and connect. And if you create things, you're able to connect. And once you're able to connect, it opens your world to a world of wonderful opportunities. And that has nothing to do with my profession. It's just how I live. It happens to sit into my career. It works well in my career that I just create and connect, and wonderful stuff comes up all the time because those are the two words that empower me most. So I've been now practicing as a lawyer for 30 years, and I noticed that my focus has really shifted to be more macro than micro. When I started out, I was very concerned about my cases, learning my craft as to being a trial lawyer. And then as I got older, and I would dare to say perhaps wiser, my focus started getting larger and larger, which was more theme-based. In other words, it used to be that I wanted to be a good lawyer. It used to be a good trial lawyer. As I grew, it's like I wanted to start to create things or invest or connect and do things that were kind of a broader term on more of a character level than on a career level. So I'm still an attorney. I'm still a CEO of a company. I still have all those skill sets, but my focus has changed to more broader concepts such as creating, connecting, creating impact. Because I think as you get older, and luckily if you get wiser, that your worldview becomes different. It becomes less narrow onto I gotta earn enough money, I gotta support my family, I gotta learn to be great at my craft, to something a little more broad. And to me, that has been the evolution of my 30-year career, that my focus keeps getting more and more broad and overall and based on character as a term of success instead of maybe finances as a term of success.